an official recording over there. So that's why it has to be in English. Darn it.
Ábrete más. Si no vamos a estar aquí, una mesa gigantesca y todos y pegaditos así como si fueran los novios.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Ándale.
Okay, we're good? Thank you.
Okay, guys, this is more comfortable if you want to see the screen.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you for your patience for this move around. Here we are, at least. I'm here presenting on Morphicon. I'd like to introduce first my friend and my co-panelist is Rubén Trujillo.
Call me Trujo, please.
He also known by Trujo. He is the voice of many commercials in here, in the Spanish version, but also in the Power Rangers series, he was the voice of Brack in Power Rangers Megaforce. And also he did the Spanish version of the Power Rangers, the movie, the last year's movie. You were the Black Ranger,
The
right?
Black Ranger, yeah, Zack.
So he, that's his credentials. Let's say it like that. I am Ricardo Mendez. I am, since Power Rangers Samurai, like 8 years ago, I am the official artistic director of the series of the TV show. I do the casting process of the voices, and I select the people who will be performing in Spanish. And by the time we get to Dino Charge, I became the official translator of the series. So now I do both, translating and directing the voices. And well, Power Rangers Samurai was my first series as a director. And I also performed 2 characters on Samurai. I was Octoru and Antonio, the Gold Ranger. So, well, let's talk about first the beginnings of the dubbing of Power Rangers. 25 years ago, it was a company that no longer exists, that was called Audio Master 3000. The series came over there, and it was like every kid show. Nobody believed in it. And, a person that is very dear to me, Miss Rocio Prado, was the director back then, and she was playing Alpha 5 as well. So she added these things to Alpha 5 that made the character so memorable on Spanish, like the ay, 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 and other things that made the character a trademark for the Spanish market.
I have a question for you guys. How old are you? 29, okay. For instance, you seem you are old. No. What I mean is that I remember going to the movies with my son. My son is 27 today, and he was just a kid, you know. And we went in Burbank to some, theater. We actors, we have a very, very different schedule than normal people, so we don't consider normal people. And we went there to, the show was 11 a.m., something like that. So the place was entirely for us, and I knew that, and I knew the magic of movies and things like that. So I went with my son, and I was just playing and saying that, okay, mijo, ya va a empezar la película, okay? Pon atención. And I knew, because you can hear sometimes, if you are alert, you can hear the sounds. Now has changing, the technology has changed, but you could hear the change of the reels, of the movie reels. And I was very clear, the movie was going to begin. So I was like, chicos, por favor pongan la película para mi hijo. you know, it was like, oh my God, my dad is moving the movies, you know. And that was the first time I did something like that with my son. He was like 4 or 5 years, years old. And like you, he was born to the Power Rangers. You know, I saw the production. I was like, this production, we are talking about like 25 years ago, probably 23, was and is kind of cheap if you compare that to the other productions.
I mean, we're talking about by the time it was Jurassic Park released.
Exactly, so. But it's magical. Somehow, the Power Rangers made it through the years. And my son was going older and older, and bigger and larger, and the Power Rangers keep going and going. And in my career, I've seen and I knew many guys, that suddenly, because they have like a lot of versions. Power Rangers are enormous. And not always the same of us, we do the same voices, because there are different casts. So sometimes he was, the Red Power Ranger. Sometimes I was a villain like Vrak. He invited me to do Vrak, and I love villains, because the villains that are born from Japanese imagination, they have a sound. A different sound, many of the people that love Japanese magical movies and shows, they know the original versions. Have you ever heard Power Rangers in Japanese?
I mean, you've seen Sentai.
Exactly. And it's like, and it's like, how do I do this in Spanish? Because I really, those sounds are not normal in our Latino lives. To be honest, I remember saying, oh, no hay papel, that I know, but
I mean, and we had the chance to do some in Mexican market, do dubbing from the Japanese version, like Monsters of Space and Godzilla and Ultraman. But Power Rangers is the American version of the Sentai.
Of course.
So this came right from the U.S. treatment, which, as you know, it has nothing, or at least to do with the Sentai. So, but it still is fun to see.
Oh yes, it is.
This kind of treatment of the series, and then find yourself with big monsters and kaijus and stuff. And at first it was like a shocking thing to see, but then, 25 years from now, it's something that we're pretty used to, and we missed, if it's not like probably in the last movie, many people said, it should have more action by then. Do you think?
And one thing that it's very interesting, at the end, is when you make the translation and adaptation to Spanish. He's the translator and adaptator, but also the director. So many of the decisions of what to say, and how to say it, how to play with that, are made when you are recording. And it's so funny. It's really funny, because we love a lot when recording,
Yeah.
It's really, sometimes you have just the chance, you're the villain. You're the villain. You can say, the villains, we can say many, many, many things.
Yeah. There's a line very clear with the Power Rangers. They are these champions of truth and justice, and they have these wonderful values that we all would like to follow. And the Rangers are the heroes, but the villains are other things. So we can play with them. We can change the dialogue. We can change the pitch. We can change the delivery of some sentences.
There
and that's
are
the funniest
no
thing.
heroes without a villain. So being the villain and talking like that,
suddenly, and you are so bad. Y voy a acabar con los Power Rangers.
It's fun. It's funny because you can say, sometimes there are some takes that they don't go to TV, but, you just make it. It's like,
voy a acabar con ustedes, pedazos de sabandijas. Ah!
Like, no, we cannot say sabandijas. You're like, come on, Rick, let me say sabandijas. Sabandijas it's an old word, when you were a kid, but, kids, they don't understand sabandija anymore. It's like, really? You know what sabandija is?
Yeah. Sabandija, you know?
Exactly, your mother is guilty.
Exactly. We got to do universal.
We need to charge your mother with guilt. Blame your parents. Because of your parents, you are here. Instead of working hard.
Working really hard.
Mothers. That kind of mother is good. Yeah. Isn't it, baby?
We have a future
She's
Power
like,
Ranger.
Yeah, Power Rangers.
We have a Power Ranger in the making over there.
Look at the baby.
Well, part of the interesting part of the dubbing process is, doing it. Maybe you don't know how this is done. We are locked up in like a 4x4 room, no ventilation, no light. We have a television monitor and a script. And headphones. That's what we have. Most of the time, the director is by my side, or in new version, we are at the booth with the engineer. So you are all alone in the booth, and that's the process. Now I'm going to show you a clip from the recording of Power Rangers Samurai, which was the first series that I that I had on my hands, and I will show clips from every series since then: Samurai, Megaforce, Diana Charge, and Ninja Steel. So let's move on with Samurai. Oh, no audio. I'm gonna put it back again. Okay, we got it. Yeah, just a second.
Well, this is a secret. That is why.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
So, let's go ahead and
while he does that, I have a question directly.
Okay, can you please put on the mic so you can get the recording?
You can yell.
How do you guys manage to, because the dubbing in Spanish is, I have heard mostly for Japanese anime, the Spanish dubbing excels even the English dubbing. And how do you guys are able to do a neutral Spanish? Because in the Spanish version, you can't hear an accent. Be it Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican, any other country. It's a very good Spanish, but it's kind of neutral. How are you able?
Well, that's very interesting. Let me tell you as fast as possible. This is just a little history of dubbing in Spanish. Dubbing in Spanish somehow, begun in 1947, 1948, and was basically a response of the market, economical response for the war. They during the Second War, the War II, there was a problem. There was no production. And the question was, what do we do to make some money? We have product, but we are not producing originals. So someone thought.
Okay, sorry. We're testing as well.
Someone thought that was a good idea to use the originals already made and send them to be dubbed in different, languages, as a product. And that's how it began. And in Spanish, the idea in New York was, how do we do it in Spanish fast and, as cheap as possible? So in New York, what do we have there? Puerto Rican people. So the first concepts of dubbing started with that sound. You are too young to know, but when I was young myself, I remember perfectly series shows like Superman, the first attempt.
The George Reeves version.
Bonanza, El Gran Chaparral. Those were dubbed with Puerto Rico talent, and they were trying not to sound very Puerto Rican. So they speak all the time like that, this kind of thing, ellos te decían las cosas de esta forma. Y entonces, you suddenly was hearing Superman saying, Señorita Luisa, ¿cómo está usted? Ni siquiera era Señorita Luisa, era Señorita Luisa, Y entonces, Superman, porque they don't pronounce the N at the end of the words, like Roman, they don't say Roman, they say Roman, that was very characteristic of those dubbings at first.
Okay, I think, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think we're ready.
Because it's because of
I know.
It's because of this question. And that didn't work. So Mexican people, they found a way to go with these people, and we had very famous talent in radio and in movies and things like that. They changed it, and from that time...
Now we're talking.
And from that time... Sorry, hello? And from that time... not even a Mac? Thank you. And from those days, that sound was the norm. That was considered what is called today neutral Spanish.
Yeah, but
okay?
It's remarkable because you hear it in movies and TV shows, anime.
Today,
Power Rangers, the Spanish is very neutral.
Today, the dubbing from Argentina, Chile, Colombia is made with neutral. Everyone is trying to do that sound. Now we go to that.
Let's go.
¡Poder, Samurai! ¡Mortal! ¡Ya casi! ¡Vamos! ¡Entren! ¡Ya! ¡Samurai Zen! ¡Vamos, Samurai!
¡No! ¡No lo puedo controlar! De acuerdo, Zorgarra. ¡Vamos a hervir a esos muggers! ¡Todos a dormir permanentemente!
Tenemos que atacarlo con el Megazord. Tú mandas. Entonces, ¡adelante! ¡Ah! 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 ¡Vensor Dragón! ¡Vensor Toso!
¡Vensor Mono! ¡Vensor Tortuga!
¡Mono Mega Power! ¡Ah! 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 ¿Están listos?
¡Sin duda alguna!
¡Bien dicho! ¡Swords combinados!
¡Ah! ¡Ranger Samurai listo!
¡Ah! ¡Ah! ¡Rangers unidos! ¡Ah! ¡Ah! ¡Samurai para siempre! ¡Ah!
¡A ellos, mugres! ¡Digo, muggers, ataque!
Ranger Rojo, ahora te tengo. Es el momento perfecto para ponerle fin al poder de tu sello para siempre.
Oh. Esto se ve mal.
Hay que entrar en modo Megazord.
Pero estás exhausto. ¿Qué opción tenemos? Muy bien, amigo. Hagamos esto juntos, igual que cuando éramos niños jugando en el patio. Nosotros dos contra los malos.
¡Vamos, samurái! ¡Ah! ¡Poder dorado! ¡Ah!
So I'm going to go on and on so we can have enough time for Q&A. So this is Megaforce. I still in the series, since I'm the director, I said, well, let's change and I still be the narrator. So you have to bear with me. 3 more series.
Un ejército alienígena llegó a invadir nuestro planeta. Ola tras ola nos han atacado para convertirse en Super Megaforce.
¡Felicidades, Rangers! Su increíble valentía y perseverancia han abierto la máxima combinación Megazord.
¡Ay, ay, 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 ay! ¡No tiene caso! ¡No puedo contactar a los Rangers! ¡Ay, ay, ay! ¿Y si los Rangers no regresan pronto? ¡La Armada va a conquistar la Tierra!
¡Ya es suficiente! ¡Aumentemos el poder! ¡Modo Super Mega! ¡Super Mega Láser! Piensen rápido, porque el poder legendario se está debilitando. ¡Super Lanza Plateada! ¡Poder de 6! ¡Unidos!
¡Máximo Megazord legendario! ¡Actívate! ¡Super Mega Ataque Final! ¡Puño Volador!
¡Genial! ¡Swords combinados! ¡Pero Troy! ¡No podemos abandonarte! ¡Megazord T-Rex legendario! ¡Listo! Mi amigo se arriesgó para proteger nuestro mundo. Nunca dejaré que su sacrificio sea en vano. ¡Yo te detendré! ¡Ah! Aunque sea lo último que haga.
¡Modo Super Mega! ¿En serio creyeron que caeríamos tan fácil? ¡Megazord T-Rex legendario! ¡Listo! ¡Los defensores de la Tierra nunca se rinden!
Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Power Rangers Dino Supercharge. Hace millones de años, el malvado Sledge intentó robar el poder más grande del universo.
¡Tráeme las energemas!
Pero un extraterrestre...
Snide se molestará tanto porque me la diste.
No te preocupes por Snide, porque... él no seguirá por aquí mucho tiempo.
¿Cómo vas a deshacerte de él?
Bueno, enviaré a Snide a la Tierra y luego él va a hacer...
Así que quieres deshacerte de mí. Sabía que no podía confiar en ti, Sledge. Veremos quién sobrevive y quién no.
Juntos debemos pelear para sobrevivir y salvar al universo.
Rangers para siempre.
Guardián y yo supervisaremos las batallas desde aquí.
Los 5 Megazords juntos. Vamos. ¡Invocar Swords! ¡Ja!
¡Invocar Swords! ¡Ja!
¡Contacto!
¡Invocar Swords! ¡Ja!
¡Contacto!
¡Dino Impulso! ¡Activar! ¡Sable Dino Super Impulso!
¡Cargador Dino Super Impulso! ¡Contacto!
¡Megazord Dino Charge! ¡Listo! ¡Megazord Dino Charge! ¡Formación para Raptor! ¡Listo!
Megazord, Lexio Charge, listo. Megazord, Titan Charge, listo. Megazord, Espino Charge, listo. Es momento de destruir a esos Greenzilas. ¡Hagámoslo! Los ataques no son tan fuertes, entonces vamos a amplificarlos.
Oda, dime qué sucede en Nueva York.
¡Es muy fuerte! ¡Escudos tengo!
¡Malandro Tijera!
¡Al ataque! ¡Sword para! ¡Bola de fuego! ¡Final! Power Rangers Dino Supercharge!
Hola, soy Memo Ponte, estoy haciendo a Brody, el Power Ranger rojo de Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
Hola amigos, yo soy Meli G o Melissa Gedeón, como quieran llamarme, y soy la Power Ranger rosa, mejor conocida como Sara.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Ricardo Bautista haciendo a Levi. Sí, muy guapo él, por cierto.
Hola, soy Alicia Vélez y soy Hailey.
Hola, soy Iván Bastidas y hago a Preston en Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
Hola, yo soy Alan Velázquez y hago a Calvin, que es el Ninja Steel amarillo. Así que, ¡listos!
Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
No hagas promesas que no puedas cumplir. No dejaremos que las toques.
Asherbots.
¡Giro Ninja! Nunca te metas con los ninjas. ¡Es hora de Morphosis!
¡Estrellas de poder! ¡Contacto!
¡Nada le temen! ¡Tontos ninjas! ¡Nunca pensaron en esto!
¡Ay! No hay tiempo que desperdiciar. Necesito el Ninja Steel de Galvanax. ¡Activa el Megamax!
¡Súbete bien sus estrellas de poder! ¡Está dañando a Galvanax! ¡Miren!
¿Qué es eso? ¡Algo se acerca!
Además de los Rangers, ustedes son los únicos humanos que han estado cerca de monstruos alienígenas. ¿Estuvieron asustados?
¿Asustados? Soy Víctor Vincent. Los monstruos me temían a mí.
¿Y cómo es eso?
Pues Monty lanzó un enorme... ¡Aroma! Y mantuvo a todos esos terribles monstruos alejados.
¿Un aroma que aleja a los monstruos? ¡Wow! Eso debe valer una fortuna.
¿Vale una fortuna?
So let's take this time to hear you say. Now let's make the Q&A.
¿Dudas? ¿Preguntas?
Comentarios.
¿Burlas?
We know that during the Disney era, it was how to summon, I think it's summon, came to you for you, or you went to summon to ask for the dog.
Well, yeah, let's make some history about this. The series was made since the start till like the 10th, 12th season it was Ninja Storm, in Mexico. The film was made in Mexico when Disney bought the rights from the Power Rangers. They did one series in Mexico, I think, and then by decision of Disney Voices International or something like that.
Character Voices, yes.
Was sent to Argentina. I don't know exactly why, but when that contract ended, 7 Brands and Miravista, which was the distributor then, they said, okay, we're gonna do the dubbing in Mexico, so they called the contact person they had from the first studio, which was Master 3000 or 3000, and that person was Jorge Arregui. So he now has a new company, which is called the Dubbing House. So that's how it became to be in Mexico again in Dubbing House. And as a result, I was directing another series, an FX series. It was called Sons of Anarchy. I was a director over there, and another fellow actor, which was the first director of the Power Rangers Samurai, Noé Velázquez. He had an enormous amount of work to do, so he did just 2 or 3 episodes, and then he has to leave the series. And the production manager at Dubbing House asked me, well, you like these things, would you like to take care of Power Rangers? And I said, yeah, I will.
Yeah, basically, the reason of going to Argentina was economical. You know, Disney, as some other corporations, they used this very specific moment in Argentina where they were having problems. They opened some offices there, you know, Discovery, many offices, trying basically to do everything from there. But Disney decided that was too much to do. You know, there were many series with too many voices to record, and Argentina was not ready to do that. Mexico is an enormous market that has been open to that kind of work since 1950, you know, and we have like tons and tons and tons of dubbing actors. Argentina is young in that state, and they kept some of the work, and they have been distributing the work in different places, but mainly the work is done in Mexico because of the enormous amount of actors.
Yeah, basically that happened. First, would you go first?
Please. He's a gentleman too.
Is this same process taking place with other languages?
Yes, well, basically it is. I mean, for German or Portuguese or French or whatever, there's the same process. We all work the same. The dubbing process was made here in the U.S. and then expanded to all the languages.
Is any of that coordinated, or is it all independent?
It's coordinated by the owner of the rights, which in this case was Seven Brand. Now it's going to be Hasbro. They sent to the territories by the time they got the finished product, or sometimes in the latest stage of production. Sometimes we had worked with non-final video, which this doesn't have all the graphics or the special effects, but we still have to dub it because we have a deadline. And I believe pretty much every market has around the same time slot.
The dynamic is very similar.
Yeah, I mean we have like a span of a month and a half for every batch of 5 episodes, and we have to do it. We just record the last episodes of Ninja Steel this Friday. Tomorrow I have to do the last 2 Rangers, which they haven't recorded yet, but tomorrow I will be ending Ninja Steel. So it's
and central offices, they have providers all over the world to do the same thing. But for instance, as Rick was saying, for instance, Disney kept Argentina for accounting and administration situations, you know, and the artistic is made in Mexico. So sometimes the decisions of how, you know, quality control and things like that are made in a central where they can do that. Many of those offices, for instance, for let's say for musical theater, you know, are kept in Spain, and the people from Spain go to all over the world to check out the versions of Latin America and things like that. So they try to handle that way, you know, the markets. It's very interesting.
I'm kind of answering the question with my question, but besides the DVD, Blu-ray, international markets, when do you have to have that product ready? When the English season starts, or I know that it's not because they split the seasons, so you do that later on. But when do you guys have to have that product finished in Spanish?
Okay. I get your question. It changes depending on the product and the client. In the specific process of Power Rangers, We started the series by the time it already aired here in the US. So it's beginning of February, something. They show like 5 episodes here, and then 8 go to hiatus, and then restart the series. But when we start, it's a non-stop. I mean, we have been doing this every 2 or 3 months since February, doing Super Ninja Steel. So as I'm saying, now we're finishing. We have a deadline like maybe it's next week to deliver the last 4 episodes that we're making, and that's it. But with other clients, like let's say I'm also doing a lot of artistic direction for HBO. The product of HBO has to be on the same language by the time it gets on the air. So right now I am recording Ballers, Insecure, and The Deuce second season. The Deuce season hasn't even announced yet a premiere date, but Ballers started last week, and we are going to record episode 9, which is the last one of the series. I mean of the season next Wednesday. So it varies. We have a lot of time for HBO. I mean, we got really advanced material, so they can premiere the show in Spanish as well here in the US. So it varies with every client.
So they don't need it as when it's premiered in English. They don't need it in Spanish right away. They don't rebroadcast it in Spanish. It will be for later.
As I told you, it depends on the client. I mean, like HBO has this SAP option. They need it to be in Spanish, but the Power Rangers are not they don't need that fast delivery. Right. But I mean, they already have the famous 10th episode that's already in Spanish, and they have it. So,
but as you know, it depends also because, okay, the client has a product, but they have distributors all over Latin America. So the Mexican dubbing version goes to all Latin America. So usually they try to have a distribution with a guy or a company that's going to make the distribution all over Latin America. You know, not just little companies here and there. So, you know, they try to go to, you know, what they say, the cable most powerful distributor, and that is why in Latin America usually the times are very similar, but they are not synchronized with America. You know, it's a total different market.
Yeah, I mean HBO is its own distributor, but here in the US, the Power Rangers, let's say, they are broadcasting Nickelodeon, but in Latin America they are broadcasting Cartoon Network. So Cartoon Network has its own schedule, its own agenda, and they actually premiered Power Rangers like a month ago. So they could go all the way to the end without the hiatus that it's going here in the US.
And you remember the Power Rangers, the movie? The theatrical, you know, have also a different dynamic, and they try to go English and Spanish with many other languages at the same time to use the promotion, you know, the same promotion all over the world. It's the heat of the movie, you know, at the theater.
Actually, that's something quite interesting as well, because while the series is made in Mexico, the film was recorded here in the US.
Yep.
So I mean, here was Seven Brands, the film was Lionsgate. So Lionsgate had the contract in here, and they did it in the US. So this US talent what came here in the film.
That was the Black Power Ranger in that movie, for instance. You know, I'm so young. that's the good part of voice, you know, because it's like, you know, if I tell outside I'm the Black Power Ranger, it's like all of you. But the voice is magical, you know. ¡Acabemos con ellos! You know, it's like, oh, really? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
hola, bueno, you know. No se encuentran en este momento. That's
right. They are, no son los Power Rangers.
Pero también soy Antonio, un jovencito. ¡De
Hablamos,
oro!
hablamos de Bank of America. No nos ha pagado. No está.
Si Wells Fargo, es el resto.
Pero bueno, esa es la magia de la voz.
Okay.
I came in a little late, so sorry if you already answered this. Can you talk a little bit about the decision making for the translations? Like who decides?
He translates, yes.
Well, it also depends on the clients. There are clients which are very strict, very tough, very square, let's say, and you can change anything on the script. We had a chance and the fortune that the guys at Saban were pretty easy with us.
Yeah.
So they let us do our job. And most of the time, and this has something to do with the localization process, you can't say, you can translate literally a joke, but a joke that is made for the US market, not always, and probably never translated as well. I mean, you have word gaming with some issues, and that does not translate. I mean, it gets lost in translation, that part.
But also ideologies. You know, that's one of the problems, you know, with time, with modernity, you know, with technology and things like that, we have been having problems, not only Spanish, all other languages out of the original, we have the problems of the adaptation. Because, look at this. Let's say that a movie, a great movie, it's going to be translated to 80 languages. 80 languages. So it's the same process in 80 different parts of the world. Now, everyone is going to try to make the best adaptation and translation possible. And in the past, 80 times in different rooms was recorded, mixed, the music, everything was, you know, or sent to Hollywood, you know, to make different 80 versions of that. Suddenly, with technology, one person found that could use the same programming of the mixing from the original to mix the other versions. So, said, guys in the world, okay? We need the translation and adaptation to be very respectful of the crests and valleys of the sound of the original. And it's like, what? You know? For instance, you say in English, hey, what's up? So they are looking for some adaptation that says, oh, look at that! You know, but suddenly you realize that we don't do that in Spanish, or it's not normal, or
we might
it's
have
not
to say
French. No, in Mexico they say "Kyole," or in North Mexico they say "Kyole." In the south part of Mexico they can say "¿Qué onda?" Or, you know, it varies. That's just in Mexico. We are talking about Latin America.
Yeah, we could translate.
I was going to be in Colombia. I was going to be in Peru, Argentina. All these kind of sounds, they don't go with the algorithms of the original crests and valleys. So, Saban, thank God, you know, was very nice and understood, because that's one of the problems. You know, many of the producers, the people in charge today is your age. They don't know, they don't even care about the history of the product they are working with. So, when someone with experience understands that you need some freedom to work. Why? Because if you make an adaptation and translation from Mexico to all Latin America, we are going to take care that every people in the continent understands. We're going to be using a Spanish understandable to all. First of all, when a product is so very special, we do two versions, the Mexican and the Latin American, because sometimes the Mexican has local things, modisms that are not understandable outside, but you know, the client wants two versions because his needs, you know. But that kind of thing happens on translations and adaptations.
Very big theatricals, like some like Incredibles, and so they have that versions. I like to put this example for translation. I mean, here in the US, there's a saying, well, it's a phrase. It's called "going the whole 9 yards." And as you know, football, we all catch that phrase. We all know what does it mean going all the whole 9 yards. But in Mexico, Latin America, football is not as popular a sport as soccer.
For instance, football americano.
Exactly, we call football, American football, football americano. But I mean, the idea of that is we're going all the way. Vamos por todo. So that's kind of the thing that we are trying to translate to make it more understandable for every market. And with the characters, we took some licenses sometimes with the bad guys, especially. I mean, we did it with most notoriously with Fury on Dino Charge, which Fury is like this tough guy, and he's very rough and he's like a barking dog, right? Even though he's a cat. But in the Spanish, Latin American Spanish version, we made him a bit funnier. I mean, he's not good by any chance, but he's likable. So, I mean, you always remember a bad guy who has this extra, and then you keep that. And I'm always thinking about the younger audience. I have in mind our generation and the people who are watching the series. But I'm thinking about the new audience. So I'm trying to make it funny for them and interesting, so they have to scream more in passion. I mean, you have an acting that you don't have to be over the top, but in Power Rangers you need to be over the top, so you can get this thrill and this excitement. I think we have one more question here.
Last question?
Taking from his question, when you dub it, sometimes footage if you go crazy and do monologues, but when you do the actors, like you have to try to pick the mouth. When 2 words in English are 6 in Spanish, how do you abbreviate, or when the actors are in, like you try to?
We try to use synonyms.
So you stop when they're
yes. It's an adaptation. Right. You know, something that means the same in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, most of the times when you have to do this, and plus the Power Ranger, the mask doesn't show the mouth, so you can go long, and with the bad guys the same thing. I mean, most of the times we take licenses over there and put extra words because there's no mouth over there.
But it's much more specialized than Google Translation. Okay, I can assure you that.
And I want to thank you all for coming here. Just to let you know that last Morphicon, I just been. It's new to me that we were announced. I mean, we were speaking with the organization of the Morphicon, but he never confirmed me. So last year it was like this miscommunication thing, and this year I saw the panelists and they said, hey, we're there, so we came. So that was pretty much the issue here. I'd like to apologize about that for the ones who came last Morphicon, but here we are, and hopefully we'll come for the next one. And
this is the initiation of a process of Hispanization of conventions.
Yeah, we may have more cast people here, but it was.
This is the second attempt in the history of dubbing.
Yeah, the first one was at Comic-Con.
Just weeks ago.
Weeks ago, we had they got a panel of video games and stuff. So.
First of all, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks so, and we hope this room gets bigger and bigger and fuller for us to have a great party in Spanish versions, in Latino versions, because I think we Latinos deserve this in America.
And fortunately, the dubbing of the Power Rangers is on the Blu-ray, it's on the DVD, and I think it's on Netflix as well. So you can, if you haven't heard it, you can check it out. I mean, I have the DVDs from here. I know they're Spanish, and I know it's our version. So
if you are curious, we are Region 4.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
We'll come together so we can do a selfie.
Take a picture with you.
Selfie pic.